So, Preeti and Chaitanya, others, do you know, right? We already had data in the controller. We built a lot of logic in the controller, right? Now I'm going to remove the logic from the controller class, putting in a different class library project. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do that today's session. So I create a project. Okay. I'm saying Institute Management as a ASP.NET Core project. And this is your base project for the across the next couple of days. Institute Management. I can say sample institute management so that it will be more meaningful. And will you all able to hear me, right? Please say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So in the E drive, go to VIT under a .NET 2. You can select ASP.NET MVC Core. All your projects are available here. Select folder and click next. Here I'm going to use, I'm not configuring HTTPS. Okay, I'm using a .NET Core as 8.0 long-term support create. When I create, an empty template will be created on the ASP.NET Core. Okay, I'm not having any logics. I don't have anything. A clean empty folder will be created. So what will happen? In meanwhile, let me write some paint. You have a core MVC project here, right? This is your core MVC project. What core MVC project? ASP.NET core MVC project, right? This core MVC project has a controller class. Assume you have a controller class here. Okay, saying that student controller. Basically, to get data for the student controller, what you will write? You will create a model here, you will call it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class library project as a service here, saying that employee service or institute management service. Institute management service. This service will give me student service. This service as a student service. Listen carefully. The service will give student service. I'm not going to write any data or logic, or in the service, I will do data validation, building data, getting data. Everything I'm going to get from. All right. So what will happen? The student controller, whenever a request comes from the user, it will go and hit the student controller. The student controller internally call to the student service, get the data, return back to the controller. This controller will render a student view. Are you got my point? This controller will render a student view. I will tell you why I'm using like that. Student view. Okay, so what based on the data will be loaded? Based on the student controller, the view will be rendered. Once it has been rendered, the response will give back to the user. So this is how the flow will work. Let's implement the same logic here. Why it is taking this much time? Chaitanya, what you did? Let me open a Visual Studio. Open this employees. Continue with code. File, new project. ASP core. Sample institute management. Then go here. Go to my E drive under VIT.NET to MVC Core. See, already a management is there. Just delete that. Select a folder. Next, remove configure HTTPS. Create. Jafar, can you go for unmute?
Yes.
I am building the project. See, you see here as a solution explorer, everything is nothing. It's an empty project solution. I don't have anything here. Now what I'm going to do, the first thing is I'll go to my program.cs file. I remove this. Okay. And then I want to create a controller class first. So what I'm planning to do, right click. These are all things I already teach, but I'm teaching once again. You can go through my videos. I will give you, don't worry. New folder. I'm saying controllers. Right? Under that controller, I'm going to add a controller class. MVC add. I say instead of home controller, I'm going to use student controllers. Instead of home controller, I'm going to use student controllers. Clear? So now the student controller associated with an action result. I already explained my previous people that how the action result will become. Now, to detect the view, what I need to do, I have to go and create a folder, add new folder, views. Under the views, I'm going to create a one more folder called student so that the view should be within that folder. I'll tell you why. Okay, and then you will have index. You go and create a view name index.cshtml. Right? Now here, I'm going to build a HTML saying that HTML. Come on, Preeti and Chaitanya, can you talk? Unmute and talk. Title.
What to tell?
No, tell what you need to do here.
Just give me the title of the
Details. Right? And then in the home page, guys, feel free to talk. And then in the body, I'm going to use H1 tag student details. Student details. See, this is my page. Sir, whenever I hit the controller, this view should be get detected. How to do that in the program class? First, I need to make all the controller as a service. I have to see how many controllers I have in my project. Right now, I have only one project. How do I detect that project in the program.cs file? I need to register this controller as a service. So what I need to do? Register all controllers. Listen carefully. This is most important line of code we need to write in program.c as well. Register or controller as a service. How to register that? Builder dot services dot add controllers with the views. This is the service you need to inject. So that what will happen? This web application builder will hold a service of controller. This class, if you go to definition, you see it will inject all the controller, add services for the controller. This method will not register service used for pages. It will register the only controllers. You got my point? And then in the program.cs file, whenever you make a request, it has to deduct by routing. So what you need to do? You need to use app.useRouting. Whenever you make a request, this use routing will get deducted. You see here. Go to implementation. What it is saying, anyone can read this? Read this one. Come on. What it is saying, Microsoft MVC Core routing endpoint middleware detected with the help of iApplication Builder. Whenever you have 2 or 3 controllers created in a project, if we use build use.routing, the request whatever you are sending as an URL will be detected by use routing. You got my point? So that is how the routing will happen. After detecting that, I need to map the method. So what you need to do? App.map controllers. Based on the routing URL, you are going to map the controllers. Based on the routing URL, you are going to map the controllers. You got my point? So once you've done that, build the project. Then go back to student controller. Here you have to specify your route. I simply say route. I say here get students. Everybody listen carefully. I'm putting a breakpoint here. Save. Go back to IAS Express. Run. Initially, you will not get a service. The page will simply say the local host cannot found the page. That is the exception you will get it. Why? Because you are not configured the default route. See here, whatever I said, the local host page cannot be found. Sir, how to do that? How to come and detect this? Simply you take this route name. In the URL, you can add like this. Hold on a second. In the URL, you can add a URL like this, saying that localhost get students. Okay, when you enter this URL, you see it got detected. Everybody able to see this? Please say yes or no.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so once you get the detected F11, it try to return a view. You see, I got the student detail view, which I built here under. They build under here. Now, sir, if I move the file from here to view, now the view has been under student folder. I don't have a view. What will happen? You see, I'm removing this. It will say HTML is not been found. It will throw an exception. You see? What is the exception it is throwing? Anyone can read this?
Invalid operation exception. The view index was not found.
Why? Because the view should be either under a student folder or shared folder. If something anywhere else that index.cshtml, it will not get detected. So what you need to do? What do you need to do? You need to always put this under here. Under student folder, you have to put. Okay? If you change anything, it will happen. Just give me 2 minutes. Sorry, guys. So now you got the view.css.html. Now, sir, I want to see basically what you will do. You will write a folder called model. You write all your model logic here. The student controller will talk. But I don't want to do anything here. I should have only controller and view. I need to move all my business logic into another folder. So what I will do, I'll right click, create a project, class library. Create a project called class library. Next, where I will say sample institute management. Entire project name I'm giving. On top of that, I'm going to give service. Here, the same framework I have to support. And then create. What will happen? A new class library project will be created as a DLL. Now here, I'm going to delete this, add a new class name called service, student service. What is the class name I'm going to give here? I'm going to give student service. I'm going to give student service. Listen carefully how I am writing a logic. This is purely a DLL. If you use internal, this service will not invoke outside. Just I'm making as class. Now, sir, I don't want all these things. What I can do, right click, go remove you. You see there is a remove sort using. Simply click on that. That means what is the valid namespace you are using, that will come. Now copy this. Here you have to, whenever you create a class, you need to have a default constructor, CTOR, where you are creating a student service. Build the project. Right? Sir, I need to create a model. So what I will do, I'll create a one more class library project, student project. I'll tell you why I'm using all these things. You can understand very well. Here, sample institute management model. And then I create a one more project. Go back, try to delete this class, say right click, add new item. I'm going to create a student model class. Student model. In the student model class, I'm trying to create all my properties. What are all the properties I can add here? Anyone can tell me? Public int student ID. This is the property I'm going to create. I'll tell you in future that how it is going to connect with the database also. First, let me finish the service, this flow. Okay. I have a student name and I can give public date of birth for purpose. I'm saying date of birth. And then what I can do, What else we can get? Age, you can create a age. Int age. Okay. So how many properties I added here, ma? Please say. How many properties we added, guys?
Four properties.
4 properties we are added. Now, why it is making null means it should contain nullable also. Don't do right now, let it be. Okay. Now save this. Now what I'm going to do is the property of model will be referred by both project, this project and this project. Am I right or wrong? Will the model class will be detected by both sample institute management model, detected by both service class as well as sample institute class. So what you need to do, you need to add this project. First, you need to build the solution. When you build the solution, all the 3 projects will be built. Now, what you need to do, you right click, go to the project. You see there is a dependency. Are you able to see a dependency? In this dependency, you need to add as a reference. Add project reference. You are going to refer your student model. Click OK. Similar way, in the web here, you can right click, add project reference. You have to refer both service and model. I'll tell you why. Now, once you add it, save this project, build the solution, clean solution, and then build solution. Done. Everything get built, succeeded. Now you see 3 succeeded. All the projects got succeeded. Now everything got succeeded. Now you close this. Now in the student service, first you need to build a project. How are you going to build the project? By private list of student model. The moment you add a student model, you see this namespace is included. Where the student model comes from? Say please. Where the student model comes from? Come on, you have to speak.
Model
Where the
class.
student model comes from? This is comes from the model class library project. This is comes from the model class library project. Once you get that, now here I am going to use students equal to get student list, something like that. Get student list method. What will happen? This method will get invoked internally. Quick action, generate a method. Now you see, I got the student model list method. Now here, I'm trying to create list model, student model underscore students models equal to. No, I don't want models. I'm removing this, equal to new of student list. Right here, students dot you have to add all your properties here. What is your property? Student ID equal to 1, student name equal to Chaitanya, comma, date of birth, something I'm giving in 1999, something like that. So what I can do, 23. So simply say convert dot to int 32. I can simply use 06 28 2000 or 1999, something like that. Okay. Why it is not working? Sorry, to date time. 10. Like that, I'm going to create a one more 5 students. Here I'm going to put Vishnu. I'm saying here something like 2002. Okay, I'm putting another student. This should be 2. This, I'll tell you why I'm doing all these things. 3. Manoj. Here I'm going to say 1997. Here I'm going to say Gauri. I'm going to say here 1985. Okay. And finally, I'm putting mine. What is your this stuff? This should be 4 and this should be 5. I'll say Narendra. And I'm going to give here 1983. I'll say 1 here 04. Now build the project. No, it will not work because I need to return the student. Now what I'm going to do here, return students. Right? See, I added a list. In the constructor, I'm going to call this method. Done. Fine. Now build the project. Perfect. Now I got the list of students. Now I got the services. So here I'm going to have public list of student model, get all students is the method. So how you will return the student method? Simply return students because this collection is already built. This data is already built. So I'm going to use this. Now come back to the controller. Under this action method, what I need to do, I need to call that students. How to call the students? First, what you will do? You will create a instance for the service. Instance for the service. So to become an instance for the service in the constructor, first you will do private student service. Here you say underscore service. Right? Here underscore service equal to new of student service. Now you are able to create a service method. In that you go and call service dot get all students. What is the property you are getting in the get all students? What it will return? It will return list of student model. So here you have to say list of student model. You say student model equal to, right? This student model you are going to pass as a view. Right? Now build the project. Now, how to build the view, Chaitanya? First, you need to import a namespace using C# Razor. So what you will do? Underscore at the rate using, what is your directive? Sample institute. Just go here in the student controller. Take this one. This one you have to import. And now what you will do at model. What is your model? What is your model? Your model is list of student. You have to say here, your model is list of student. Once you've done that, here at for each student model, I have to use student model student in. Why it is not working? Here, you need to have a div. You can say h2 model dot okay, do one thing. Let me run this. So I'm putting a state point here. Run this express. Okay, do one thing. Instead of calling this one, simply use slash so that it directly detects this route. That one I will teach already. You can go through my link. Now you see, the immediately it is not calling the action method. Instead, it is calling my service. What will happen? This instance will be created. When the instance will be created, the student list already created as an object. What, man? Okay. Okay. So it's supposed to be 06. 07. Save all. Now got it. Now you see here, the student model will get the all the values. You got it or not? Say yes or no, everybody.
Yes.
You got all the values of that student model. Once you get that model, I'm going to render in the UI. But the render is not happen. I will have to build the logic here. So how to build the logic? First, I have to register this as a model like this. But why it is not happening? At using IntelliSense is not working. Rename, copy, paste. Then here I have to say model. What is my model class? My model class is student list of student model. Done. Now I remove this. Let me try this one. Okay. Chaitanya, are you there? Priti? Priti, are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
are you able to hear me? Yeah. So here I can use model. I can use student model. It has to work. I don't know why it is not working. Got it. So I have to use I enumerable. whenever you pass as a student model, it has to use here I enumerable for each student model, student in model. This is how you have to build. Here you have to say H2, simply say student dot, go to definition, student name. Now save all. Now you see hold on a second. Guys, can I teach this one tomorrow? If you all okay? Rajkumar, Pranit, Prem.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
See, I got the data, but why it is not rendering in the UI, I don't know. Because I got the data till here. Okay, now if you look into here, I remove this. Why it is not binding, I need to check. Okay. Some problem with the reference. Okay, so I want to see why it is not binding. If you look into here, it is working. But why view is not recognizing that, I need to check. See, you got that student detail. Now, if you go manually and do, it will work. Right click, add view, razor view, add. Now, if you go and say the template, select list, and you can select your model class also. There you can have a model. Remove all these things. Try to add, it will work. Do you want to replace? Yes. See, it will create a package, but it has to do. It is trying to install the Nugget package. Yeah, it's done. It is generating the code of index.css. See, now try to run. You got the everything from the UI? Say yes or no. What are the data we added? Everything added here. The problem is enumerable sample institute management model. We need to add like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I am not interested show through table. I'm removing this. Okay. I'm taking this table inside. I'm removing this also. I don't want these actions. I keep everything inside. I don't want table body also. Okay. Now class I don't want. Okay. Under which I'm going to have a div. I'll tell you why I'm doing this so that you can understand div. I'm moving. Save all, run. See, you see everything is showing like this, right? Now what I'm planning to do, each TD will have a TR. I am going to display everything in a different format. TR tag, TR tag. I copy this to paste here, paste here. Yeah, done. Now save all, try to run. Now everything will happen as a div, 111 div. I will tell you. See, you got one name, again you got everything like this. Let me put in a different way. I copy this one, paste here. Model item dot. I don't want to do anything here. Simply say employee student ID. Student ID. This is my one TD. Okay. This is my one TD under a TR tag. Now I'm adding another TR. In this TR, in this TD tag, I'm going to have student name, right? Copy this one, paste here. What is this? Date of birth. Date of birth. Okay. Here you need to have one more TD. Copy. Say here age. Right? Now I added TRTD everything under a div. Okay. Run it. Now you see you have a student ID, student name, age, date of birth in a row column. Now I want to make this each div as an independent. So what I will do, I'm going to apply a CSS. Listen carefully, I'm going to apply a CSS. Okay. So here I don't want this paragraph also. And then I go on to Solution Explorer of the project. I'm trying to create a folder. Add www root. Okay. In the www root, I'm adding a new item called style.css. Okay. Now I added the style sheet. What I'm planning to do, I'm going to include that style sheet from year to year. I'd include the style sheet. I'm removing everything. I simply use stylesheet.css. I'm not going to use anything. This is how I'm going to include my style sheet. Save all. Go to style sheet. In the body, I'm going to say background. Linear gradient. 45-degree. Chocolate. Blue. Comma. Chocolate. Okay. Now try to run the project. You all able to see me? You all able to understand me? Rizwan, Praneet, Prem, Preeti, Rajkumar. You all able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Now you see here, there will be a background. Color will change. This is old one. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm removing this. Close this. Run this express. Why it is not working? It will not work. Why? Because this root folder is not detected from program.cs file. You are not configured your root folder here. So what you need to do, you need to use here app.use static files. This also I explained in one of my course. Okay, you can go through it. App.use static files. Then only the static file by default detect this root folder. Okay, now run it. Now you got it. Say everybody, you got it or not? Preeti, Prem, Rajkumar, Mohammed.
Yes, sir. Got.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
sir, I want to make the text of this. So what I'm planning to do, I'm going to apply certain changes. What changes I'm going to do is, I'm going to use a div tag where width equal to 350 pixel, height equal to 400 pixel, and display inline block. and border, I'm going to say border 10 pixel, 3 pixel, solid red color. Now you see everything shown like this. Now instead of 400 pixel, I can say 200 pixel. Instead of 200 pixel, I can say 100 pixel. This is somewhat good. Now what I'm going to do, under the div color, white smoke. Now run this. The div content text should be in white color. It is not happening because it is comes under table. I'm going to use table tr td. Here say color equal to white smoke. Now run the project. You got the point? You see, all the text which are available from the database is coming in a different color or not? Prem, Preeti, Rajkumar,
Yes, sir.
Rajkumar, Mohammed. Mohammed, say yes or no. So this is how you have to do. And sir, I'm seeing certain paddings that I can do adding 10 pixel and put margin some 5 pixel. Now you see it looks good. Looks good or bad? Sir, I want to apply some background color, background linear gradient 45-degree, red comma, yellow. This is okay. Now you see the entire stuff will be with red color and blue color. Okay. Sir, the font family is not good. Go and change font family for the now. Looks good. So these data, whatever you are seeing, should come from database, from the service. This data only I'm going to find. Anybody have any questions? Hello. Please say yes or no.
Yes, actually, how to like call to CSS in the code behind?
See, basically, you need to create a folder with the www root. Okay. After creating the folder, in the program.cs file, you have to use app.useStatic files. Under program.cs file, I'm going to use that app.useStatic files. Once you make this app.static files, what will happen? It automatically look for root folder with the CSS file. Okay. This CSS file you have to import in the project like this. Once you've done that, you can start writing all your application of CSS. Got it?
Yes.
Prem, Preeti, you got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tomorrow the plan here is I am going to build the same student controller with a single record. in the CSS, and each element I'm going to have a view record. This will come to here and it will go and call the service method to get a single record based on the ID. That I can describe tomorrow at 9:45. Thank you guys. Have a great day. We'll meet you tomorrow. And this recording will be available. Those who are new, probably you can share your link through WhatsApp. I will share you the demo video. Okay. Thank you.